Good morning, I'm Mai Rodriguez. Let's unlock the tricks of the trade from managing the economy to starting and growing a business, only here on Trade Talks. Let's get down to business. It is Valentine's Day, and this morning we take a look at the business of love. Launched in 2018, FlowerStore.ph has already disrupted the flower industry in many ways, from affordable bouquets, multiple payment methods, to same-day delivery. What started as a 3-person team in a small office in Makati now has several warehouses across the country with over 100 employees. What's the inspiring story behind this successful venture? And joining us today for another episode of My Milyonaryo here on Trade Talks is Saul Molla, CEO of FlowerStore.ph. Hello, Saul.
Hi, May.
Hello. Good of you to join us here in the studio. Thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
How are you this morning? The business of flowers, very big on Valentine's Day.
Yeah, well, you know, this is the most stressful week of the year, and especially today.
But then you said earlier, when we were talking off cam, it's a good kind of stress, right?
Yeah, I think that it will be easier if every week was like this, you know, because we will get used to this volume. But usually, the big peak is what it's challenging to handle.
Tell us what inspired you to put up this business, and how has the journey been so far? It's already going on 7 years, right?
Yes. So, you know, actually, I had been on the start of Lazada, and I had seen how e-commerce, you know, had revolutionized, and make easy for everyone to be able to shop online. And then I saw, you know, that in the gifting industry was something that I believe that needed to do something very similar, you know, giving a gift to another person is something that has happened since thousands of years, to show to another person that you care, you know, and giving a gift has that power of making a connection between people. So then, you know, we thought that needed to be a much easier way of doing gifting. And then within gifting, we really like the flowers category. And that's how we decided, you know, to start on 2018, to really bring, you know, this gift giving on a much more easy way for everyone.
And do it next level, right? Because, well, let's talk about how you manage the busiest time of the year for you, Valentine's Day. You said from 100 employees, you go up to 2,000 for the week, right? So how is that like?
Yeah, so, you know, on normal days, we have around 100 employees between our operations or headquarters people. But then, you know, when a week like Valentine's come, actually our preparations comes already weeks ago, because we also...
Because there are pre-orders.
Yeah, and for example, we already start advancing part of the things, so the wrapping, etc. This has been done between January till now. So during these last 3 days, we only do, you know, the part with the perishable flowers, because it's the only part that really need to be done on the last minute. But all the other part of the work that can already be advanced, we advance it. Then we also, you know, have multiple warehouses during this week, while normal days we only have one warehouse. During this week, we are operating from 9 different places around Metro Manila, one in Cebu and one in Davao. So, you know, kind of we divide the problem on smaller problems and try to replicate. And yeah, in total, we have a bit more than 2,000 employees in the Philippines during this week.
Yeah,
apart
for
from
the
that,
busiest time of the year for you. So tell me, how has it grown from only 4 employees from the very beginning? How has it grown to 100?
Yeah, you know, so it has been a bit gradually. So we started, you know, the first Valentine's on 2019. I remember I had never faced it, you know, and suddenly those spikes in volume, I was even, you know, surprised of how big it was. Then, you know, in the middle, we also got COVID, which we're a bit of a strange years, you know, because it was a lot more complicated to do operations with the social distancing and everything. But now these last years, once everything has been back to normal, you know, like we continue seeing like a continuous increase like in the business. And then also, you know, like we launch in the meanwhile operations also in Vietnam and in Thailand, which are also, you know, like growing, even if still like Philippines is our biggest market.
Tell us about the biggest challenges you faced when growing the business and how did you overcome them?
You know, I will say that starting like from a very small team and also, you know, like being myself or considering a doer, when you start like, you know, expanding the team, launching in other cities, etc., at some point you cannot be present physically everywhere. So that's why I think that kind of, you know, like getting a little bit down, like, and letting people run the show. I think, you know, like the delegating side probably.
Sometimes you have to let them.
Yeah, probably, you know, it's like the most complicated part. I was talking about this before, you know, like Valentine's is always super stressful. And, you know, I like to be in the warehouse, supervising everything, etc. But now that we are in 3 countries, already there are 2 of them in which I'm not present. So, you know, that also kind of helps like the company like to grow without you needing to be there, which I think that it's something very, very positive in the long term.
Saul, how has the flower delivery industry evolved in the country over the years?
Yeah, so I think that here we have helped, you know, like improving it a bit. Like, for example, when we launched in 2018, there was no player offering like same-day delivery. You know, like if you will order online, you will need to wait like 2 days like to be delivered, things like this. So for us...
Then you came in.
Yeah, then we came, you know, like the first thing that, because we believe, you know, that most of the people, when you have a birthday or you have an occasion, many people remember on the day. So then we want to be a tool also, you know, for these last minute gifts. So that was like the first thing, you know, that we changed the industry.
Yeah, you changed the game.
And then
doing
also,
same-day delivery.
And then also that we have been trying to do, you know, is also offering affordability. It's like by us like making like very big volumes, you know, and our warehouse and our processes in operations are optimized for big volumes, then, you know, like we are able like to save on money and then translate this into lower prices than what a small flower shop, for example, on a mall or somewhere will be able like to offer.
So how did you build a strong brand identity?
Yeah, so for us, you know, like we have been focused on 3 main pillars. For me, like the first one, you know, is about affordability. And it's because, you know, especially like in e-commerce, we believe that being affordable is like the way of reaching like the mass market, you know, and being able to, you want that people, the first time that they try you have some offering, you know, at low prices, like below 1,000. Later, you still need to have, you know, like all the other range, you know, up to 10,000, 20,000, whatever the customer really wants to spend. But in order for people to try you for the first time, I think affordability, one, is key. Number 2, you know, is about product selection. We want to make sure that we have the right product for the right occasion. And 3, you know, is about still customer experience. Even, you know, if we are an online player, we need to make sure, you know, that we always make things right for the customer, you know, and that it's not like we are a website and there is no behind it. We still need to give like part of this personal touch, because at the end, I would say, you know, like the gifting industry is very emotional, you know, and very people-to-people oriented.
And I agree, price point is very important. You have to have a range that's still affordable for the average customer.
Yeah, you know, at the end, it's like when we came, you know, like there were already some of these very premium one focus, you know, but I don't believe that offering bouquets at 4,000 or 5,000 pesos on a day-to-day can attract like the mass market. So we wanted, you know, like to revolutionize that and start like much cheaper. And this also, you know, involves improving operations, also working a lot with local farmers to try to find better solutions for everyone.
So what makes your store stand out from other flower delivery services, especially on Valentine's Day?
Yeah, so I will say, you know, that to me, like number 1 is about affordability. You know, like we know that we can be like more affordable than a small flower shop, basically because, you know, they have things like waste, high rent, because for us, we operate from a warehouse on an area that is not high foot traffic. We can really have our operational cost lower on a per order basis, and then translate these savings into the products. And then, you know, like also, which I think are the benefits of being an online business, that is like all our operations are optimized for this. And then, I will say that it's product selection, but also like a region selection, because we don't only deliver, in Manila, in Cebu, and in Davao. At the same time, we have already partnered over these years with over 100 small merchants, across all the Philippines, and we also deliver, in almost all the cities in the country.
Yes. Flower businesses are a key part of the gifting industry. More to talk about, especially the trends in flower preferences after this short break. Trade Talks. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Trade Talks. Let's pick up where we left off in our conversation with Saul Molla, owner of FlowerStore.ph. So Saul, what are the trends in flower preferences that you've noticed over the years?
Like we have like the classics, like roses. I will say that especially like for Valentine's is always like the classic. But something that has been growing like over the last years is also like the preserved roses and dried flowers, because also as the prices doesn't increase before the campaigns, they are able to be like a more affordable solution. Plus also, like later are used as decoration.
Mm-hmm. What are the most important lessons that you've learned in growing a business online?
Yeah, like for us is that online, to me, is always about customer experience. It's like when you cannot be on the because you cannot be talking with each one of the customers, you need to make sure that what you are offering, like the whole experience of purchasing, the prices, the promotions, you are very strong. So for example, I will say, that our biggest learning is on focus on marketing, how to get our brand well known, run promotions, run crazy ideas, that can make your brand stand out there.
Mm-hmm. Saul, I'm curious, what did you do with your first million?
Well, so actually, like we just keep reinvesting it into the business, like to continue launching like into new countries.
Yeah, and your first 10 million, the same?
Yeah, I think like the 10 million, the same.
Yeah, just revolve it in the business, right, and make it grow. Well, the challenges facing the flower industry today.
Well, so for example, this year, Valentine's, like the biggest challenge compared with last year has been that last year we have Chinese New Year being on the 10th of February. So like the demand from China was small. This year, as the demand from China is being very big on Valentine's, prices have gone up at a global level. So, because actually in Valentine's in the Philippines, the demand is much bigger than the supply that there is, and we depend on importing from other countries.
Yes. From what countries do you import flowers?
So we import usually from the biggest producers that are Ecuador, Kenya, and India.
Mm-hmm. So how do you see your business evolving over the next 5 years? Are you offering any services and any exciting plans up ahead?
Yeah, so, like in parallel to Flower Store, that is like our flowers brand, we also launched Potico, which is like a general gifting brand in which we are also focusing on digital experiences, personalized. Like we want to have a brand that has like many other categories for gifting that is not only flowers. So, like this, I will say like that complement between Potico and Flower Store is what we are focusing for the next 5 years, together with the expanding like to the remaining countries in the region.
It is only going to get bigger. Now, what advice would you give to aspiring entrepreneurs out there?
Just get started. It's like I think that many times you overthink like what to do to start, etc. I think that there are so many things that you cannot learn unless you are really like on doing. So, like take calculated risk. Of course, don't get started if you cannot afford to it. But I think that having clear what you can afford to lose, I think that if you believe in it, you should risk and get started.
Yeah, just get started, just go do it. Now, some rapid fire questions before we go. Roses or tulips?
Tulips.
Bouquet or box arrangement?
Box arrangement.
Fresh flowers or preserved flowers?
Preserved.
Local flowers or imported flowers?
Local flowers,
Personalized notes or pre-written messages?
personalized,
Online store or brick-and-mortar store?
online always,
Chocolates or teddy bears as add-ons?
chocolate,
Seasonal flowers or year-round flowers?
seasonal.
Right, thank you so much. Appreciate your time coming here, Saul. Thanks.
Thank you, man.
Great talking to you, and thanks for coming to the studio, Saul Molla of FlowerStore.ph. And that's it for today's show. I'm Mai Rodriguez. Stay up to date on the latest in business and the economy here on Trade Talks. Catch us again tomorrow only here on BNC, the Bilyonaryo News Channel.